Hey Year 10, today we're going to have a look at 3D, which is rationalising the denominator. Um, so hopefully we remember about rational and irrational numbers. So rationalising the denominator just means obviously making the denominator, in this example here, a rational number. Now surd, like this one here, is not a rational number. So basically what we're trying to do is make sure the denominator down here is not a surd. So look at that one, it is. Over here it is. We sort of want to change that a little bit. Alright, so before we get into those two examples, here's a rule that you can use. Now I'm not going to talk too much about this rule. If you can use the rule or you understand what it's saying, that is absolutely awesome. But the way I want to show you how to do it is just using plain language a little bit more. I might sort of use this example first actually. Now we've got 1 on root 2. Now if I times that by 1, it doesn't really do anything, does it? It just stays exactly the same. Now what about if I times it by 1 on 1? Now 1 on 1 is just 1, isn't it? So again, it's still just going to stay the same. How about if I times it by 2 on 2? Again, 2 on 2 equals 1, doesn't it? So I can do this as long as the numerator and the denominator are the same. Okay, and that's sort of what we're going to use when we do these two down here. Now, if you look at the rule, it says we need to, well, we start with this bit here. What we need to do is times it by whatever's down the bottom here, this third, on top of itself. So we're actually timesing by 1 here, aren't we? Do you see how that divided by that is just going to be 1? Alright, so let's have a go at that. So we want to times it by whatever this third is down here over itself. See how we didn't really change too much because this is just times by 1. Now, I hope we remember how to multiply fractions. It's actually easier than addition or subtraction. It's top times top over bottom times bottom. So 1 times root 2 over root 2 times root 2. Now this stuff down the bottom here, this is what we've been working with, isn't it? So let's look at the top for now. 1 times root 2 is just root 2. And then we can combine these, can't we? So we've got root 2 times 2 like that. Now 2 times 2 is 4. So the square root of 4 is down the bottom. What's the square root of 4? Hopefully you know that it is 2. And we're done. Do we see how down the bottom we've no longer got a surd? What we've done is rationalised the denominator. Now you might look up here and be like, how come you chose root 2? Now you always need to make sure you choose whatever the surd is down the bottom, because what we need to sort of know, and if you know this you can be a lot quicker, a surd multiplied by that same surd, the answer ends up being whatever number is under the square root. So I've written that down here, so I'll get you to put that into your notes as well. So if we multiply two identical surds, the answer will be the number under the square root. Alright, let's try the exact same thing with b. Okay, so underneath here we've got root 3, so we're going to times it by root 3 on root 3 and go through that same process again. So 2 times root 3 up the top, down the bottom we've got root 3 times root 3. Now you don't have to write down every single step if you don't want to. If you're not too confident, maybe you should, just to make sure you don't make any mistakes, but you don't necessarily have to. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9, so we've got 2 root 3 on root 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So hopefully we can see that our denominator down here is now rational. So we've rationalised the denominator. Let's do one more, which might look a little bit harder, but this is going to be the final one. Okay, now this has got a couple of terms up the top, but it doesn't matter. We're really focusing on what's going on here. Okay, so remember, same strategy that we used before, we're going to use now. So we're going to times it by that surd that was in the denominator. Okay, now remember these two are going to be times each other, and we can do all the working out, which is great, but I know that this times this is just going to be 5. I'll still do all the working out for you to see. So this is going to be that whole thing times that, so I'll put our root 5 out the front. So they're times together. There we go. Okay, let's look at the top first. So root 5 times 2. 2 root 5. Root 5 times root 3, or minus root 3. It's going to be minus root 3 times root 5. Now, again, I'm doing heaps and heaps of working out here. I'm writing every single line down so you can see what I'm doing, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, so these two together, they're going to become root 15. And down the bottom, we've got 5 times 5, which is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So our answer is going to be this. And we're done. Hopefully that helps. Have a go at the questions from your learning schedule or work schedule. The questions are written in the lesson plan as well. If you got any questions, make sure you let me know.